Let's look at the fundamental updates for this week. If you're watching this video, you should know that I drop fundamental updates for every week, and we are currently at September 7th, 2025. We're going to be looking at the fundamental update for September 7th all the way to September 12th. But before we do that, we'll look at previous week and what happened, right? A lot of news was released previous week, but those news weren't really important. Some of them didn't even move the market, but the most important one I told you all was the NFP, which was the non-farm payroll. That was the news all investors were putting their eye on, right? Remember, I told you all that last week, there was not going to be volatility in the market. We had Monday coming out with bank holiday on card and USD, right, which was a very, very low volatility week. Then on Tuesday, we had ISM manufacturing PMI. Now, I want you to understand that this manufacturing PMI just simply tells you, the rate of goods and services being produced in the economy, if the economy is doing fine or if the economy is doing poorly. If it's above 50, if this number you see here is above 50, it means the economy is doing fine, right? But you can see the number came out 48.7, which is not good for the economy on US. Do you understand? But it did not affect the market, right? It didn't. Last week, the market was just ranging. There was low volatility. I didn't even see an entry in the market. The one trade I had on card JPY, it didn't even go well. It actually hit my SL and I left the market on a little bit of loss. Do you understand? I want you all to understand that sometimes the market is like this, and it's perfectly okay. The market would not have volatility every single time. And last month, which was a holiday month for the US, they had a summer holiday. There was no volatility in the market, and the market now is recovering from that. This September, this week, there will be volatility in the market. I assure you that. Why? Because we are going to be having a very important news release. Before we go into that, let us see what happened. What actually happened last week? Okay. So on Wednesday or on Tuesday, we saw a little bit of volatility in the market, right? Which was on US. We saw the markets giving us a long bullish spike on Tuesday, right? Yes, on Tuesday. Let us go back a little. I'll show you the move I'm talking about. Something like this, right? This was the bullish spike I'm talking about. Now, what caused this bullish spike? What made the market move upward like this? Well, this is simply because of the tariff announcement. We had a tariff announcement. The Fed said that the tariff which was being employed by President Trump, right, it was considered illegal. And this news alone was good for the USD. Dollar is a safe haven currency, and the tariff had been affecting dollar negatively in the sense that inflation has been coming out poorly. Do you understand? Inflation coming out poorly, the economic event is dropping. This made the US economy go on a downward spiral because of what? The Trump uncertainty based on the tariff. Now the Fed have said that this tariff is considered illegal and they have postponed it. Now the tariff is something that they keep postponing, and we don't know when this tariff will actually take place, when this tariff will actually be implemented, and they would announce it on most of these countries and most of these nations that Trump said he's going to announce it on. But for the meantime, we focus on the present, we focus on what is happening. So not only that, the investors had this mindset that, okay, the NFP, which was on Friday, remember this was what happened on Tuesday. The NFP, which was going to come out on Friday, was going to be positive. And I told you all that most times the market do this this scenario where they do buy the rumor, sell the facts. Buy the rumor, sell the facts. Do you understand? So in this case scenario where the rumor is already seeming that the NFP will come out positive, the job results come out positive, all the investors are already buying dollar in the hopes that NFP will come out positive. But what happened on Friday? NFP actually came out negative, came out worse than expected, and it killed the optimism of investors. I myself, I was even hoping that NFP come out negative. Why? Because we are expecting a rate cut on dollar on September. And like I told you all, the market focus currently is on monetary policy. Monetary policy just simply tells you if the Fed are going to cut interest rate or hike interest rate. If they are cutting interest rate, it means that dollar on its own will be weak. But if they are hiking interest rate, dollar will be strong. And in this case scenario, which is monetary policy, which is what we are looking at, The Feds are planning on cutting what? Interest rates. And if they cut interest rates, what do you think will happen to dollar? Dollar would sell. Why? Because dollar will be weak. So I'm still expecting a downward movement on dollar. I'm still expecting a sell on dollar, possibly all the way to this, trend, all the way here after the rate cut, right? And that rate cut is going to happen this month, this September. All the data that are being released are already showing that the rate cut is likely going to take place. Do you understand? Because on Friday, the NFP results came out 22k, which was lower than expected. The expectation was 75k. So it means that a minimum amount of people were employed in the month of August, which is bad for the economy. On my status update on WhatsApp, for those who have my WhatsApp contact, right? For those who have my WhatsApp contact, I spoke about something called leading and lagging indicators. There are things that are called leading indicators, there are things that are called lagging indicators. Now, a leading indicator will simply tell you how the economy will be in the future. A lagging indicator is something that, results that have already come out in the past. NFP is a lagging indicator. It's a result that have already come out in the past. It just simply tells you how many amount of people will be employed, or how many amount of people were employed the previous month. So this data is not going to affect the market forever. Just that moment it's being released, it affects the market. You understand? For those who are interested in knowing more about concepts like this, you want to know more about, the leading and the lagging indicator, well, you can just simply register for our macroeconomic mastery class. We offer a 6-month training with a lifetime mentorship, and it's still at a discount, which is $41 discount. You can pay in any currency that you wish to. If it's Naira, because mostly Nigerians that are watching this, you will still see the price, which is 60k. The main price is actually 250k, and this discount is ending very soon. We give market prediction. We help you to learn how to use the news to predict gold, how to trade gold, how to trade BTC, how to trade dollar. All these things is in the training, and you can see some of the trades I took using, macroeconomics, using fundamentals. You can see the long spike that are being formed for most of this trade. That is how good you'll be if you join our macro mastery class. Do you understand? You'll be learning a lot from us, and all these concepts I'm mentioning in these videos, none of them will be confusing you. With that being said, let's go back to the main point of this video, right? So now, next week, what are we looking at? Next week, we're going to be looking at core PPI, right? Core PPI and normal PPI. Now, this is going to happen on Wednesday. You ask me why is Monday and Tuesday, empty? Well, because there's no news release those days. So those days I feel like there'll be low volatility those days. I don't know how the market will be, or maybe there might be, rumors that CPI will come out negative. So the markets might start pricing in on based on that rumor. But one thing I want to tell you is that this CPI is going to bring volatility to the market. This core PPI also will bring volatility to the market. Do you understand? Apart from that, I don't usually see any news that would, be important to the market again. I don't see any news that will be important apart from the core PPI and CPI. But aside that, let us see the trade we have for this week. Let us see if we have any important trade for this week. So dollar, like I said, dollar is going to be negative. We're going to be seeing a negative move on dollar. Well, after that, we are going to be looking at JPY, right? What is my prediction on JPY? A lot of notification is coming in. Let me put this on DND so that we can focus on this. Okay, so what is my prediction on dollar? Well, dollar is going to sell. That is for sure. Dollar is going to sell. So we have the JXY, which is JPY. What is my prediction on JPY? Well, JPY is still bullish, but something happened last week, which was the retracement we had over here, which was the downward movement on JPY. Now, this retracement made my card JPY go above, the level in which I set it, and I realized that, okay, maybe I made a mistake in the analysis. Do you understand? Maybe I made a mistake in the analysis, and I think the markets came all the way back to sweep liquidity, only to sell from this zone over here. Do you understand? So that is just simply what happened on CAD JPY. Well, the market had really low volatility, so I didn't plan on trading last week due to the low volatility that was occurring in the market. Do you understand? But based on that, this is what we have on CAD JPY. It has hit this zone, and it will definitely keep selling from here because JPY is still bullish. Let us look at more. GBP JPY, has it broken the range? No, GBP JPY hasn't broken the range. For the GBP JPY fans, this might not actually be a good time to trade GBP JPY. I suggest you move on to another pair. Let's look at USD JPY. USD JPY is still ranging. Most markets are still ranging. This zone looks like a good zone to sell, but I would say we should wait for the break of this range, right? Because JPY pairs, they are still at a range. Even though I'm predicting a bullish move on JPY, which means USD JPY is supposed to sell, CAD JPY is supposed to sell, GBP JPY too as well is supposed to sell, AUD JPY is supposed to sell, but they are still ranging. They are not in a good zone for the sell-off. So if you're going to go and sell here, this is not actually a very, very good, idea. This is not a very good profitable idea, right? I suggest you only trade trending markets that are trending. Just like the GBP card, you can see GBP card came all the way back down to this, key level and decided to pump up again. You understand? Due to the fact that there was low volatility in the market, I didn't really look at this GBP card, but maybe I'll start paying more attention to it as of this week. Let us see how it's going to be, right? The last trade I took on CAD JPY was this, which was a very, very good profitable trade. I made a lot from that move, but ever since then I've just been observing the market. But this looked like a good zone. I would have bought this market, making my my good money. But besides that, let's move into more profitable trade for this week. USD CHF. USD CHF doesn't really look good. I would say USD CHF is actually ranging as well, because I don't actually like the move I'm seeing on USD CHF. You can see a lot of range happening, though it looks like a downtrend, but the range is still too much. It's too much. You understand? Maybe if you are, you want to scalp, you can wait for the market to get all the way up here, and then you can now look for maybe a selling opportunity to the downside. But I would say for now, I would stay out of USD JPY as well, because I don't like the range movements that is happening over at this zone. Well, Euro USD. Now, Euro USD was one of the trade I looked at last 2 weeks, right? And I made good profit from it. I told you all that I bought at this zone and I made good profit stopping here. Then I told you all that this key level is going to give the market a little bit of hard time, and you can see it's actually doing that. So before I ever look for another opportunity on Euro USD, I want this level to be broken. If this level can be broken to the top side, then I can start looking for more buying opportunity. But for now, I am sitting duck on Euro USD. I'm not going to be doing anything on this pair. So AUD USD. Now, one thing I want to let you know is that AUD USD follows mostly AUD. Now, AUD currently, AUD is showing a sign of weakness. Why? Because the economy on its own, they are seeing a rate cut. Now, if AUD is weak and USD is weak at the same time, that pair is at a convergence. A convergence just simply means when two pairs are seeing the same fundamental outlook. If one pair is weak and another pair is weak, they are on a convergence. It's not a good pair to trade. Why is that? Why is it not a good pair to trade? Because it's just simply going to be ranging. You're just going to be seeing random movement in that pair. Write that down. That's a very, very good, important information, and that is something that most of my macroeconomics students should already know. So once the market is on a convergence, I don't trade it. Rather, I trade divergence. Divergence just simply means when two pairs are seeing opposite news movement. If dollar was strong and AUD is weak based on fundamental, that's a good pair to trade. Do you understand? That's just simply it. GBP AUD really, really looks, we don't really even know the movement of GBP AUD. First of all, we saw a bullish move, then all of a sudden it came back to this key level and sold massively to the downside. And it's currently back down at the lowest point, which is the 2.05, or is it 2.04 zone, right? Let's see if maybe this zone is to give us a reaction again, and then maybe if it can break this downward movement and show an uptrend, we can start pushing up back to this level. You understand? But for now, I'm not really seeing any good move on GBP AUD, which I'm going to seek doc as well. GBP USD is just confusing. GBP USD is actually following the movement of GBP as well and USD. Now, we saw a very, very big news, like I said, on dollar, which made dollar a little bit strong on Tuesday/Wednesday, which was the cause of this huge move. Then all of a sudden, the markets came back all the way back to this level. You understand? I'm not really seeing any good opportunity on GBP USD, so I'll sit that one out. So I've gone through a lot of pairs, and that should be enough. The remaining pairs, I'll send signals to my Signal channel, to my team members, and I'll send more on fundamental updates to those who I have their WhatsApp contact, to those who are in my free forex bootcamp, and to those who are viewing my status. They'll be getting more updated. Do you understand? So that should be it. That should be it. Make sure to be sharing this with your friends in case they are interested in fundamental updates. Most forex traders don't even know what fundamental update is. They don't even know that. Maybe some of them want to know, but they don't know how to read it. Let me be your guide. Let me help you every single week to understand what will happen that week and news that you should be careful of. For this week, the news you should be careful of, like I said earlier, is the core PPI, and which is on Wednesday, and Thursday, which is the CPI. The CPI month on month, which is this one, is the most important one. The core PPI, which is this one, is the most important one. All this other news might not really have any effect in the market. Like this red folder that you see on Friday, it will not really have much effect in the market. GDP will not really have much effect in the market. Unemployment claims will not really have much effect in the market. It just core PPI and CPI. Why? Because this is the market focus. There's something called market focus and market team. So market focus, fundamental focus for this week is going to be core PPI and CPI. With that being said, I hope I explained everything. In case you have anything you want me to be looking at based on fundamental, based on the chart, let me know. Some of you are gold lovers, so let me just use this time and just look at gold. Gold is actually a fundamental commodity. I will tell you all this. Gold is a fundamental commodity. I don't advise people trading gold using technical analysis only. Do you understand? You must have fundamental knowledge for gold. Now you can see gold simply pushed upward and is still pushing upward. Why? Because of the economic uncertainty. During economic uncertainty, gold strengthens. Now gold will only keep buying. Why? Because of the economic uncertainty. Once things get back to normal, once the economy start doing fine, you might see gold will start selling and will go for a retracement. So that is just simply it. For those who bought gold from these areas, most of us that used fundamental, we bought gold from this area. I don't like sharing gold signals, so I don't usually give it out to my VIP Signal channel because the lot size, the SL used to be much, but gold actually did so good all the way to this area, which was where most of us took our TP. We ended it here, but even if we targeted this high, it would have kept on going, but we didn't want to be more. We didn't want to be too greedy. You understand? So that's just simply it. We use fundamental to trade gold. Only the fundamental team just took this. So that is simply it for the fundamental update. I hope you understood everything I explained. In case you have a question, make sure to ask me. Once again, it's SFX Academy here, and make sure to have a lovely trading week ahead.